This meeting to order. This is a special meeting for trim and non-ad valorem on Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. Georgia, can we please get a roll call?
Certainly. Commissioner Sarah? Present. Commissioner Simmons?
Here.
Commissioner McHugh?
Here.
City Manager Givens?
Here.
City Attorney Hearn?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, if we can please rise for a moment of silence. All right, thank you. And we are now going to have the Pledge of Allegiance led by one of the city manager's office interns for this summer, Ashveen Saini. So if you can, please come to the podium and we will follow your lead. Thank you for being here.
Of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. All right, there are no recognitions or proclamations for this evening, but we will now open up the floor for public comment. Georgia, do we have any signed up speakers?
Commissioner Simmons, we have one signed speaker, Eleanor Chenille.
Welcome, Eleanor. Just make sure you state your name and your address for the record. And often during public comment, we won't necessarily respond to your comments, but one of us on the dais may respond at the end of the meeting.
Sure.
So thank you.
Sure.
Welcome.
My name is Eleanor Schnell. I live 5109 Northwest 57th Terrace, Coral Springs, Florida. Good evening. I guess the mayor's not here. Commissioners, my name is Eleanor Schnell, and I'm on the board of directors of Coral Springs Basketball Club. We are a nonprofit recreational basketball organization that has served the city for decades. Each year, we operate 4 basketball seasons for both boys and girls ages 6 through high school, along with adult men and women's leagues. We serve over 400 families each season and generate over 1,800 player registrations every year. So we've deeply impacted a lot of lives. Often we have parents show up who say they played in the city and their kids are signing up now. I'm going to ask you to respectfully reconsider the proposed increase in the player registration fee. Currently, we pay $14 for each player per season. And what we were told was it's going to increase to $50 per player per season. That's an increase of 250%, which is going to price a lot of people, especially middle and low-income kids, out of playing. We have a lot of people who play 3 or 4 seasons each year. So with approximately 1,800 registrations each year, the fees that our league pays the city, currently we pay about $25,000 to the city, is going to increase to about $90,000 annually. That's an increase of 250%, which is absolutely crazy. That's an additional amount of about $64,000 each year, taken directly out of the pockets of Coral Springs families. That's just not a number. It's thousands of dollars that the parents, we're going to see a lot of parents not be able to put their kids back in, year round. So one of the main goals of the city is to keep the kids active, and this is going to deter a lot of parents. A lot of times during registration, we have parents come up to us and say, can I pay for this over time, a couple of payments? Can I pay on payday? They really want their kids registered. So a lot of families we know are struggling right now. The benefits of the rec league for basketball are enormous. They keep kids active, healthy, engaged after school. A lot of times these kids are doing stuff 5 days a week with us. and that's keeping them active and off the streets. My concern is if we don't, then all of a sudden we're going to put these kids back on the streets, which is going to be a problem. We're going to have to increase the police budget. Currently, non-residents pay an extra $60. That's going to be lowered to $50, like the rest of us are going to pay. So they're going to benefit, we're not going to benefit. So again, I ask you to reconsider the 250% increase, and let's try and keep, I look forward to working with each one of you. I will, meet you guys in your offices to work to keep this affordable, but the $50 is just not going to cut it for our league. It's very hard for us to absorb. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chanel. Do we have any additional signed speakers?
We have no other signed speakers.
All right, the floor is open for anyone in the public to speak during public comment. All right, seeing none, public comment is now closed. We will move on to item number 1, presentation, FY 2027 Budget and Business Plan. Ileana?
Good evening, Commission. We'll have the presentation put up in just a second. While we wait for it to come up on the screen, I want to thank, first and foremost, the budget team, all their hard work through the last 6 months of preparing to get us to this point. I also want to say thank you to all the department directors for all of their work through the last 6 months of getting us to this point this evening to go through the trim set. So, all right, so we're here to set our trim. This is a special meeting to go through some items. What I want to start with is our vision. This is our guiding force here in the city of Coral Springs. Our vision is to be the premier community in which to live, work, and raise a family. That is where we start. It's what we use to guide ourselves with our 5 strategic goals, with our strategic plan, our business plan, and everything that we do here in the city. The vision in motion, this started back in 2023 when we did visioning. It was the guide frame for the next 10 years. This started in fiscal year 25. We're in the 2nd year of our 10-year vision. And so we're continuing that. This vision is in motion. It's moving, and we're keeping it moving forward. What does this vision have in it? It takes care of, this budget takes care of our workforce. This is the people behind everything, the people behind the strategic plan, the people behind the business plan. We're taking care of our workforce. The vision itself, this budget is taking care of the vision to move it forward, to keep our short term moving forward, to get the midterms started, and to get those long terms in action. This budget also has capital resources accounted for. We have a lot of facilities here in the city, ACs, roofs, buildings. All of that takes money to manage and maintain. We do have replacement plans, and this budget does help take care of a good large majority of those items. When we did visioning, that was a listening action. We were listening to our community. That's just one area that we utilize to bring information back in for how do we structure our budget. We have yearly surveys out to the residents, out to the businesses. We also have our boards, committees, and groups. We have best practices, other areas that we go to look for information. We take all of that into account, and then that's what goes back out into creating our budget. Now we're going to go into February, where we did our strategic planning. So our budget process really started in January, where we took all of that listening information, we compiled it together, and we started a framework of an agenda to bring to our strategic planning. That's where we get into February. So this budget process didn't just start yesterday. It started over 6 months ago. And in strategic planning, we sat with all of you and moved forward the strategic plan that we have in existence and said we're going to keep moving that strategic plan forward. It focused, again, as I mentioned, on visioning the 7 pillars. This was from listening to our residents and our businesses. This is information that our residents said that they want us to focus on. They want us to bring city aesthetics up to the premier level that the city is known for. Safety and transportation. Our residents value city special events. These are some of the areas that we're focusing on and keeping in our strategic plan and moving that forward. This is my favorite slide and Commissioner Simmons' favorite slide. Just a reminder, on your property tax bill that you receive, on the first page is your ad valorem portion. The ad valorem portion has 7 total taxing authorities. We are one of the 7. So on that first page, the total dollar amount is not all coming to the city of Coral Springs. It does go to 7 total taxing authorities. We want to speak to the portion of the 30% that is the city of Coral Springs, and then on the back page is the assessment page, and we'll get into that a little bit later in our slides. Good evening. Sorry, everybody. So on our city staff comparison, this is a productivity chart. This is the total number of employees to the total number of residents in the cities. We're comparing here to some cities that have comparable millages, comparable sizes, comparable level of support, meaning a full-service city, things like that. The trend line is an average of about 10.6, and we're below that. What does that mean? That means that we do much more with less. We're a very highly effective organization. Our number of full-time employees, we'll just show here over the years where we've been growing in different areas. Some of these areas of growth are related to state mandates that have come in through the state, as well as keeping up with the areas that we've been listening to from our residents of things that they would like to see. Excuse me.
Sorry again, everybody, for being late. My trial ran late. Number of full-time employees, yeah, I just wanted to see that slide again. Okay, gotcha. All right, you can move forward, thank you.
So status of reserves. On this slide, just want to show in the 3rd column the growth of the stabilization over the years. We have been staying pretty stable at the 20%. This follows our financial policy, where we keep a portion of our general fund budget in the need of an emergency. The financial policy is between 17 and 25%. We're at 20%. We're in a good place. We like to keep that very stable. But what's really important to look at is our additional replacement plans and the growth over the years since 2018, where we've really been making strides in making sure that we can take care of the facilities and everything that we own here in the city. Want to take a moment to really highlight all the hard work that the finance department does and what they're doing every day behind the scenes is a very internal service department. They just got reissued their S&P AAA rating and their Fitch AAA rating. In the state of Florida, there are only 14 cities who are AAA rated with S&P and only 11 cities who are AAA rated with Fitch. In Broward County, there's only 4 cities who are S&P AAA rated, and we are one of them. And we are the only city in Broward County who is AAA rated in Fitch. This is a big deal. This means that we are a good risk to the creditors, and it gets us the lowest ratings in the interest rates for any debt that we take out. And another point of privilege, again, with the finance department and the budget department, every year we go for our GFOA awards. In my department, we've received the GFOA Distinguished Budget Award for 35 consecutive years. In the Finance Department, they have received the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for their ACFR, or their Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, for 46 consecutive years.
Amazing.
That is some just great work. That is transparency in reporting the information that we put out for our residents. It is recognized by an external entity.
This is my favorite slide.
Thank you. I like this one too. It's a little personal to myself and to Kim. So when we were putting this budget together, we also had to take into account a lot of things. There's a lot of state legislature that has to be taken into account when going through the budget. Looking at the possibilities for future grant funding and what does that mean for the city. We noticed that the real estate market is slowing, so we need to be cautious of that and just pay attention to it. And there's some other things that do kind of affect our operations, and we do monitor them and try to make sure we stay on top of them. Starting this fiscal year, for fiscal year 27, when we went into it, we started at a deficit. We looked through everything that we could with department directors when we did our budget process and tightened up everything that we could, and we got our deficit to a completely balanced budget without the need of a millage rate increase. We balanced the budget, and then further, we looked into next year, which we had a programmed millage rate increase, and we also balanced that budget without a millage rate increase. This is a 2-year balanced budget, fiscal year 27 and fiscal year 28. Then we moved program millage rates out because we do want to have them listed so that they are on our 5-year forecast, so that we know we need a millage rate increase to balance, and to also inform our residents that it is a possibility that we would need a millage rate increase. I think this is an exceptional show of that we were able to take the growth that we were seeing and bring it back to the best that we could, and keep the premier services that the city is known for intact. Speaking of premier services, this is our survey to our residents. We asked them, why do you live in Coral Springs? And their responses back, 91%, are satisfied with their life here in Coral Springs. And they're satisfied because of the attractive neighborhoods and affordable housing. They are satisfied with the quality education here in the city, a feeling of safety, and their recreational opportunities. These are areas that our residents come back and say, this is why I live in Coral Springs and why I raise my family here. We also look at our businesses and we ask them, why are you investing your business here in the city? And the businesses come back, 95% are satisfied with the services that they receive from us here in the city. 46 of the businesses surveyed feel that the overall business atmosphere is better than it was two years ago. Some areas that our businesses are very happy about is the low crime rate, level of taxation, attitude of local government towards businesses, and the overall image of the city. Again, that's going to tie into aesthetics and things like that that our visioning spoke to as well. We are a business-friendly community. Our Economic Development Department does so much for our business community. They have Business Excellence Awards, the Business Safety through the Real-Time Crime Center. We have our facade grants. The city has invested $730,000 since the program began, and the businesses themselves have put $12.6 million into their businesses to meet the grant match requirements. And then on performance, we can see that Economic Development Office is helping with some of these metrics. For fiscal year 27, our budget is focusing on not just the vision, but within the pillars, very specific areas. So one of those areas is aesthetics, and that's something that we heard loud and clear from our residents. So this budget is really focused on aesthetics, heavily focused on economic development, bringing in more economic development opportunities, helping our businesses as well so that they can thrive and grow here in Coral Springs. Heavy focus on public safety, and a good investment into our parks and recreation, not just the facilities, but also the programming. And lastly, but certainly not least, is this budget focuses on a culture of caring that we have here in the city of Coral Springs. And a culture of caring really is embodying the people that are here in the city, who are the backbone of everything that the city is known for, the services, the premier services that everyone appreciates for living here in Coral Springs. In our budget for fiscal year 27, we are proposing the addition of 13 full-time staff. 12 of those are firefighter paramedics, and those are for the collective bargaining agreement that was signed last year for our firefighters. And then 1 FTE is a split between our fire fund and our general fund for an executive assistant. Our residents envisioning said city special events is a big area that they truly appreciate. We continue with our special events. They are all programmed in for next year with some slight enhancements, as we discussed at a previous workshop. We continue making those memories with our residents. Just a couple slides. This is specific to our strategic plan, dollars that have been put into the general fund and the fire funds, very specifically to the strategic plan to keep it moving forward. Heavy focus on public safety, our parks, and in the fire fund, continuing to provide them what they need to be able to be a premier service fire. On the fire assessment, this is the portion of the non-ad valorem assessments that we'll be setting today. We are looking at the full-service fire departments. This is our proposal, $324.92 per single-family property. On the other cities, we don't know what they are proposing just yet. In September, we'll have that. This is against their fiscal year 26 adopted rates that they have. We are a full-service ISO Class 1 certified fire department. And that value of the fire fund represents itself in many different ways. There's over 17,000 calls that come in to the fire department. 11,600 of them are EMS calls, 162 are fire calls, and then about 5,200 other calls, some other nature. You can see the average response time of just about 5 minutes. From the time you call to the time someone is there, that's a really great response time. That is the value of the fire fund. That is what your fire assessment is purchasing. So our fire fund highlights, just very quickly, there's the residential, the commercial, industrial, and institutional. I just want to point out we had a fire assessment study completed. The max of that assessment that we could charge is $458.23. We don't take the approach of pulling up all the way to the max. We do look at it on a yearly basis and try to keep it within the true cost of what we need for the year. Our solid waste assessment. Again, this is a comparison of us where we're proposing, again, comparing to the other cities and what their fiscal year 26 adopted rates were. We'll have rates that compare all of us for proposals in September. This slide does not take into account the value of the other cities' solid waste funds as it compares to ours. Our solid waste fund and the services that our residents receive is a green cart disposal 2 times a week, recycling blue cart once a week, weekly bulk pickup. We also have a waste transfer station, and we do composting at the waste transfer station as well. So this is all the value that the proposal of the $464 covers. The $464 is mainly contractual obligations for the coastal contract, their standard increase over the prior year for their operations, increase in the waste transfer station, some cart replacements, and other items like that. I will say that the city is helping to reduce the total cost by offsetting it with fund balance of close to $20, or just slightly over $20 for the year. Stormwater. Our stormwater, again, is a comparison of our proposal to adopted fiscal year '26 and prior years of cities who do have a stormwater assessment. Not every city has one. This is those who do have one. And every city might not be in the same phase of where we are. We just completed our master plan, so we have a better idea of construction and things like that, whereas some other cities might be just in the beginning phases, or they might be approaching their stormwater differently. So again, the comparison of the assessment is not the same across cities. Our stormwater fund has done quite a bit of work since 2020. We've done design and construction in Commerce Park drainage, the Meadows and Dells, Westchester, and then we are going to start enacting the master plan to get that moving. Nuisance abatement, this only is for properties that have an abatement in place due to a code enforcement issue. This is one parcel this year, and only that parcel is subject to this. Something we've talked about in prior meetings is that the tax collector was voted in 2024. This is a new office in Broward County. Previously, Broward County completed the function of the tax collector. So the tax collectors, by state statute, can collect 2% of the assessments to cover what is needed for her office. That cost comes to the city at about $18.19 between our three assessments, as we do have to be able to collect what we need for operations and being able to cover the 2% collection for the tax collector. So this is a cost that is outside of our control. We do need to be able to account for it. On our total taxable assessed value, we look at the total value and then what of those values, what percent is the residential or businesses. Just shy of 80% of the total taxable assessed value comes in from our residential properties. We are a heavy residential community. This is mainly residential parcels, not so much commercial properties or industrial properties.
I'm just going to give you and the team a heads up. I will ask when it's my turn to see how this compares to a year before and a year before and potentially a year before. Okay.
Thank you. At this, so just actually real quick, businesses is just shy of 15%. So that 15% of the pie of the valuation of the total taxable assessed value of the city of Coral Springs is identified in this chart. So we have a good breakout of values of commercial properties. About 6% are those valued above $10 million, 31% between $1 and $10 million, and then the major chunk is your $200 to $1 million. Tends to be your smaller, mid-size businesses, and then the smaller portion is your small businesses. What does all of that mean? We have 41,525 total parcels in the city. Of those parcels, 38,000 are residential, 38,363. Of those 38,000, 25,821 are homesteaded. So our total homesteaded properties are 62% of the total parcels, but if you look at just the residential, because those are the only ones that can be homesteaded, 67% of our residential properties are homesteaded. That's a large majority of our properties. That means people are buying properties here, they're staying in them, they're living in them. These are not second homes or properties that they're renting out, Airbnbs or anything like that. The good majority are residential. This year, the Save Our Homes cap was not met. The CPI came in at 2.7%, so the 3% cap did not have to be enacted. What that means is that on the taxable value of a homesteaded property, it could not increase more than 2.7%. And I'll get into that a little bit further when we have another slide. So again, our residential properties are homesteaded. Of those 67% that are homesteaded, 18.3% have been homesteaded for at least 25 years, if not longer. People buy here and they stay here. People love Coral Springs and they stay here for a long time.
What's the percent again?
18.3%. This is our operating millage. We are proposing to keep the millage flat, 6.0232. This is a comparison of our proposal against fiscal year 26 adopted for the other 30 municipalities in Broward County. In September, we'll have this updated for where other cities are proposing to take their villages. Again, 30% of property taxes go to the city. The other 70% goes to the other 6 taxing authorities that are on the property tax bill. Just a history of our millage rate. We are keeping it flat for the 5th year in a row since fiscal year 22, when it was raised to 6.0232. On the bottom, the orange chart, the graph, is our debt millage. That has been steadily declining. We have not taken on additional debt, so there's a decline in the debt millage, and when the debt is paid off, that debt will be, the debt millage will be 0. If you pick up your house in Coral Springs and you take it anywhere else in Broward County, this is what it would cost you, more or less. This does not take into account the services you would receive. It's just a dollar for dollar, at keeping the valuation at the average taxable value and moving it to another city in Broward County. For a single-family home, what does all of this mean? On the ad valorem portion, the 2.7% cap on an average taxable home has been enacted. So for them, they will see a $56.41 increase. On the voted debt, because that is decreasing, they'll see a $1.22 reduction in the voted debt. The fire assessment, the proposal is for $60.74 for a residential property. Stormwater, $4.35 per ERU, and our single-family homes tend to be a 1 ERU assessment. On solid waste, $30, and this only pertains to properties that receive the solid waste assessment. Overall, total would be $106.28 for the year, or about $8.86 per month. This is just, again, for the City of Coral Springs portion, and the first 2 lines, the total for that is for their ad valorem portion, and then the bottom 3 lines goes into account for the non-ad valorem assessment. And some residents may have other entities that also put assessments such as CSID that will also be listed. The average market value for an average taxable home is $625,000. There's a gap between those 2 numbers. The average taxable home is being protected by Save Our Homes. So even though the just market value is increasing year over year, the taxable value is not meeting that valuation. There is a gap between them. So the properties do get protected by Save Our Homes and the cap. This is a condo. For our condos, their average taxable value is $149,000 here in the City of Coral Springs. Their average market value is $197,000. Last year, they actually were higher on the market value, so there was a decrease in the condos this year. Overall, taking the same formula going through, total increase on a condo would be about $71.69, or about $5.97 a month. We also look at our commercial properties and industrial. This property here, they have a 10% cap. They can't be homesteaded, so they are subject to the 10% cap. They did not meet the 10%. This property actually went up only 2.19%. Overall, their increase would be about $413 a year for the whole year, about $34 a month. This is one of our larger properties with a big tax base. Again, the 10% cap, but here it wasn't enacted either. It's about 5.84% increase, overall about a $13,000 increase for the year, or about $1,100 over the month. Here's a property that lost value. It was reduced, so they will see a tax decrease. Here we have a property that hit the cap, so the valuation actually was 25.4%, but the cap is protecting them, so it's only going up 10%. You see it's about a $1,600 annual increase, or $136 for the month. What's next after this meeting? In August, we're going to do our standard budget and brews. We're going to be at Mitch's downtown. We're going to partner with Parks in Sartori Hall, do donuts with the director and coffee with the director, and go to our seniors and have an opportunity to speak with them. We're doing Vision in Motion. Last year we did our Vision to Action Town Hall. We've got another one coming this year. We are doing our Budget Academy online like we've done in the past. And we will have a budget town hall August 25th to talk more about our budget and other items related to property taxes. One more reminder on your property tax ad valorem portion of your bill. Only 30%, just shy of 30%, comes into the city of Coral Springs. What does all of that mean? What do you mean only less than 30% comes in? So when you're paying your property tax bill on an average taxable home of about $360,000 when they pay in, every dollar for that ad valorems, 34 cents just about goes to Broward County School Board. 29 cents comes in to us, 27 cents goes over to Broward County, and 10 cents gets divided up by 4 smaller taxing authorities. The hospital districts, there's North and South, there's the Children's Services Council, South Florida Water Management District, and the Florida Inland Navigation that take care of the canals and things like that. So that is how every dollar of ad valorems gets divided up and goes to different entities. We're speaking to our portion and the 29 cents that comes into us to help support the premier services and all the public safety, our parks, EMS, and all those different services here in the city. This evening, we are setting our millage at the current rate, 6.0232. We would see about a $4 million increase. The anticipated rollback rate, which is designated in item number 7, I believe, is 5.7487, which would be a $4.39 million decrease to the budget. We do have to advertise anything above the rolled back rate as a proposed tax increase. We do that every year. And we will be bringing all of this forward again September 15th at our first public budget hearing. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
We will go left to right. Thank you. Great presentation. Again, I'm sorry I was a little bit late. We'll start with you, Commissioner McHugh. All right, Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If we could just go back to slide 12, please. Yeah, if we can get there we go. Oh, no, number 12 in the your actual presentation, I think.
That's going to be one that I'm going to keep referring to.
The productivity chart.
Yeah, I guess
city
there's
staff
multiple numbers
comparison.
on there. Sorry, I don't know which one to use. I guess 8.
There you go.
Actually 8,
Yeah.
but yeah, okay.
We have 2 numbers on there. It's okay.
Well, so 8 up the page numbers up there, but then there's I guess that's the backup number.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, Ileana, thank you for going through that. And I know this was a much more abbreviated presentation than I think you would have liked to have given. I don't know. So just for everyone, I want everyone to look at this chart because this is important. Over the last couple of years, we have watched that orange bar slide further and further back. And I say that because that orange bar is representative of all the city staff that you see at all of our events, whether it's the holiday parade or Oktoberfest, or if they're, mowing the lawns out at the fields, so that your children can have a nice field to play soccer on or baseball on. And we are going to, in the future, at some point, going to have to increase that because our staff is working very, very hard to provide services that they've provided all these years, and we're doing a lot with a little, and that's not diminishing the folks that are actually doing the hard work. It's just saying that at some point they're going to need help, or we're going to start losing people to burnout, and that's important to see that. And so going forward, just think about that. Those are people there, but we are doing a lot with as minimal as we can. Can we please go to, now I got to make sure I get the right number. That would be 44, slide 44.
You could give me the page number. I have it here too.
48, 44, 48. It's the millage rate increase history.
Millage rate increase history chart. 48. Yes.
All right, this is also another extremely important slide, especially as someone being a fan of history. As you can see, we've kept it flat, and we're hoping to keep it flat for a fifth year in a row. That is not sustainable. We do recognize the economic pains that are out there in the universe and all the different things that are happening that are squeezing families left and right. We also still got to make sure we have a city that people want to move in, want to live in, and feel proud to come home to. And so going forward again in the future, we are going to either confront what happened in 2018, where we went after the largest property or ad valorem increase or millage rate increase that the city has had in its history, because we were headed towards a very large deficit. And that will start to come up on our horizon if we don't take the proper financial steps to ensure that this city is still running the way everybody would like it to run. And also, please understand, no one up here has a special carve-out when it comes to property taxes. Whatever you pay, we pay the same thing, unless you got a bigger house than me, and I guarantee you a lot of you probably do. But we still pay all the things that we need to pay to keep this city and this thing running. So anytime we take a vote, that's a vote that we are taking for ourselves as well. Can we go to the homestead page? I think that one that would be, there's actually no page number on that one. 44 at the bottom in the backup.
Okay, 45.
Thank you. Yes, so the 67%, and I'm just calling that out because, again, we are all confronting with the possible reality of dealing with reduced property taxes for homesteaded properties. And just full transparency, I am homesteaded. And that amendment would be something that would be effective, I guess, for me in terms of whatever pennies I could save off of voting for that amendment, even though I will not be voting for it. I won't even tell my wife to vote yes or no for it. I'll let her make her choice. But I want people to understand that 67% of our homes are homesteaded. So that is a lot of money that will be coming out of that budget. And so when I say that, that's not, it's not because we're against trying to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible or that we don't want to reduce property taxes in some way, shape, or form or try to find ways to make things more affordable for families. I just want you to know that reducing that amount of money from our general fund, which is our lifeblood in keeping this city what it has been and what it should continue to be in the future, is something we cannot do. That would be very devastating to the city. I won't say anything about, I guess I will say it, these are people, again, 67% out of that budget is people that come here and work every single day and may confront the prospect of not having a job anymore because we just can't simply afford it. So, just want to say that. And then also, when we go to, and you don't have to put up any other slide, but when we show what other cities are paying or what it looks like when we pay in other cities, some of those cities do not provide the same services that we do. Some cities are not full service. So if you see X city at the back end of the millage rate, that's because they're not providing the things that we're providing. People move to Coral Springs because it's safe. People move to Coral Springs because it's culturally diverse. People move to Coral Springs because we have awesome parks. People move to Coral Springs because we have a wonderful fire department. People move to Coral Springs because of how it looks. And that's because that is something all of us are paying into. And so I just want to make sure that as we move forward, and while we're not actually voting on the budget today, we're kind of just talking about it because we have to legally set trim and let people know what could be they could possibly see after budgets. Everybody votes on their budgets from all the different taxing districts of what their tax bill could look like. But I just want people to know, and I'll keep talking about it, of the value that you get for what you pay. I love living in Coral Springs. I love everything about it. And I'm happy to pay my fair share to make sure it continues to be that way. I got 3 little kids. I work a full-time job. My wife works full-time, so she works 2 jobs. And we're doing everything that we can to make sure we can take care of our family, but also make sure we have a beautiful city to raise our family in. And the last thing I'll say, when it comes to trim, it's going to be advertised as a millage increase or a tax increase because we're not voting on the rollback rate. So for anyone that may see anything posted or said out in the public sphere, that's how it is. Even though we're keeping the millage rate the same, it will still be advertised as a tax increase. And with that, I'm complete, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Great, thank you for sharing that education with our community. Commissioner Sarah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to piggyback off of what Commissioner Simmons was just saying. Ileana, can you please explain the rationale of the millage increase with regards to tax purposes? Because we could potentially unanimously vote to keep the millage rate the same. But when someone looks it up in local newspaper or in the Sun Sentinel, it's going to be advertised that we've raised taxes. Can you explain once again why that's the case, please?
It's due to the taxable value of the property increasing. So on the homesteaded properties, their taxable value cannot increase more than 2.7%. So they're seeing the increase from the prior year plus 2.7% on the taxable. And then our non-homesteaded properties, the increase is based on the assessment of their market value going up. So that's what they're seeing. It's the taxable value of the parcel increasing that's causing the increase because we are not moving to the rollback.
Okay. So, and thank you for that. So this, as far as the millage rate is concerned, for anyone that's watching or listening, this commission, I've been on the commission for 7 years. Mayor Scott Brook was here before me, so was Commissioner Simmons. Joe joined us 2 years ago. We've only voted one time to increase the millage rate, and that was a slight increase because we resoundingly understand the challenges that our residents and business owners are up against, and we live that same challenge. So I just wanted to make sure that people understand that there's nothing more that I can vote for. The only other option would be a rollback, and that is not in the best interest of our city. As far as the fire assessment slide, would you mind just going to that real quick, please?
This one or this one?
32 with all the cities?
Yeah, the one with the breakdown of costs. Yeah, that's good. So, and I direct this towards you or Catherine, but, you know, some residents came to me going into tonight's meeting and saying Coral Springs shares a fire service with Parkland, right? And we're being assessed what's going on in Parkland. Can you share what the answer is to that?
Absolutely, happy to. So we do contract services for our fire department, fire and EMS to the city of Parkland. and they do pay completely their fair share of the services that we supply to them. So they are a contracted city for us to be able to do that. They are trained. They are our, I look at it as completely Coral Springs Parkland Fire Department because we train them and we can use the people interchangeably depending on what station that they want to go to. So the city of Coral Springs residents do not pay what they are not paying for the services that Parkland receives. Parkland pays and charges their residents the fair share, and then we have contracted services, they pay us. We do have two different fire assessments. If you're looking at the cost of each, they have less residents, and then they pay for their type of staffing at their stations, which could be different than ours. So they pay for their type of contracted service. We give them a bill, we tell them what it's going to be June 1st, and then July 1st we give them an updated one, and then they pay pay for that service completely for their residents. City of Coral Springs residents do not pay for Parkland services.
Okay, so just to be clear, the Parkland residents are paying for their fair share of the services that they,
Yes, and I can say that contract, looking a little bit over at Tyler, I think last year was 10.6 million, and this year it has moved a little more than 3% up to 11 million.
thank you.
Yes.
The next slide on the tax collector impact.
Good question, Commissioner Sarah.
Thank you. On this one, how new is this?
This year was the first year. We're receiving a 1% collection for the first year because we did not know about it until we received notice when the budget had already been set. So now that we know for fiscal year '27, we're putting it at the 2% that is statutorily by the state set.
Just out of curiosity, when did you get notified?
October of 2025?
That this was going to happen?
Yes.
Did they give any rationale where these dollars are going that our residents are paying?
To fund the office, the tax collector office for their operations.
Okay. I think we've been parts of this conversation. I think this is completely and totally unacceptable, the way this was rolled out. Our residents didn't have a voice in this.
The piece that the residents did across was they voted for something, and we then statutorily had to implement what that is, and we did not get notice of what that looks like from one budget year to another. This was to the Broward cities. An issue with the tax collector's office from the attorneys in each municipality with theirs, and it was, the residents did not know how much this would cost when they put their vote in the election. So this is something that I agree. I wish it could have been a little bit more seamless. I wish that we could have had a little bit more information. I wish that the residents and the voters would have known that this would increase their own taxes. But this is an entity that statutorily, that vote went forward, and at that point, we have to pay for it, so therefore our residents are impacted.
So as our city manager, with regards to the residents going to the ballot box and voting for this, they probably didn't have all the information as to what they were voting for and the potential outcome that they're going to feel when they get their tax bill.
Correct.
Okay. A reason why I bring that up is because, I mean, obviously as a county, state, and a city, we can always strive to be better. But when it's impacting our residents, I think we've got to stay as far ahead of it as possible. I feel on this one, as a city, we were blindsided, not only on staff, but as a commission. Because when I found out as a commissioner that this was going to be taken out, not only from cities, but from the county and the school board, that's not the way that was rolled out to me. So just wanted to bring it to anyone's attention that's in the audience and so on. The last thing I just want to share is we'll go through the November vote and we will see how that looks. I am very proud of the staff to city ratio, but if we're losing dollars, the reality is, we're going to potentially lose staff, and that some of the services and the events that we enjoy could be jeopardized. So You know, we're going to have to wait till November to see, and I know that we're always looking for ways to fine-tune our employee base because they're our strongest piece to this culture, human capital. But ultimately, that to me is unknown. So I just wanted to bring that up as well. And then the last thing I couldn't agree more is that everything that we're voting on tonight, no matter how it shakes, whether it's an increase, no increase, or staying the same, you know, we need to remain a premier service community. So, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Sarah. So I'll also ask you to pull up a couple slides and say thank you again for the detailed presentation, and thank you to your team for supporting you. The first slide would be about the reserves, with 20% reserves. And again, these questions, for the most part, we know the answers to, but it's really important for our citizens to understand and the business owners to understand a little bit more details before we go ahead and vote and set the public hearing with the next items that are coming.
Slide 14, good.
So why are reserves important? How have we done over time? And are we meeting our goals on a regular basis?
So our
And
reserves.
if you're an attorney, you'd object compound question. You were thinking that, right, JJ? I was. So 3 questions in one.
So our reserves are part of our financial policy, and our financial policy helps guide how we're structuring our budget, how we do things, how we look at if we have a surplus at the end of the year, how do we use that surplus? Because we know that surplus at the end of the year they're one-time funds. So we put them towards our stabilization. We know that this is one-time money. I can't put it into the general fund budget for recurring expenses because it won't be there the following year, and it'll just compound an issue. We put it to our stabilization. That's important because if the city ever has an emergency, like a catastrophic hurricane, the emergency stabilization allows us to keep operations running based on the dollar amount that we have. So 20% is the equivalent of just shy of 3 full months. 25% would be a full 3 months of operations.
Okay.
So 20% lets us keep the city running, functioning as it does, without having to take out a big loan or deplete what we have in the budget itself to take care of what's occurring because of the hurricane. This is something that is well outside of our control that we did not know was going to happen. Our replacement plans are the next part that we put any surplus towards. These replacement plans allow us to take care of the facilities that we have for things that may come up that we weren't expecting to replace as early as they're needing to come up on a replacement, big emergency, outside of the stabilization. Because the emergency, we want it for true emergencies. And then the replacement plans are to help sustain and support the city. And then if there's anything else left, we try to put it, again, to one-time projects, like a capital project, to get something started, moving. Again, not to recurring things. So we can't take this money and put it into our operations, because it won't be there the next year.
Gotcha. Very good. So I just want to highlight for the community that while our goal has been 17 to 25% annually, and that's been our goal for some time, we are generally exceeding that goal, and we have been exceeding that goal on a regular basis for the last several years. By when will we know about this fiscal year? Very end of the year?
The end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
We try to not grow it outside of our ability, because that is part of what the outside crediting agencies look at, and we want to make sure that we can keep it at a level that we're comfortable with.
So talking about the credit agencies, if you can pull up the slide, Pete, please, about the AAA credit rating from S&P and Fitch.
Right after the reserve slide.
Yep.
Slide number 15. Good job.
So this tells us that there are generally very few communities that have this kind of rating, correct?
Correct. And just for full transparency, it's only those who do have debt that have been rated. But those who do have debt, of those that have the debt, these are the ones that are AAA rated.
Gotcha. And so when you look at this slide, so of course I'm speaking, somewhat to the choir here, but it's really for the audience at home and the public. For us to have two rating agencies put us at AAA, what's the significance of that to our residents in the short term and in the long term?
Short term, it allows us to take out debt if we so needed to and get a low rate. Long term, it signals to those crediting agencies that they can lend us money should we need it at any point. And we do have a large project coming with the water and sewer fund for the water membrane. It'll allow us to borrow that large amount of money with a low rate.
So I'd say also, and I'll let you provide maybe some other input, Catherine, it gives us agility, gives us adaptability. It not only gives us as an organization confidence and greater security having that level, but it should give the residents the same.
I
Catherine?
agree. This signals to the market meaning in the United States, that our city is a financially solvent city. So it gives credit rating agencies so the credit rating agencies come in just like if you have a private portfolio and let's say you have a mutual fund, you have invested in, let's say, Coca-Cola or any other type company. The city is also like that in the respect, hey, you want to make sure that you are a credit-worthy organization, meaning would you be willing to put your money here because they will be able to pay their bills? So that's really what it means in terms to the public on your city. Can your city pay their bills with no problem to where they are at the highest level of least risk? That is what rating agencies come in and do for whether it's a city, whether it's a company, that is the level. And we are in that industry group of government when you look at different types of industry groups. And we are at that premier level. We can't get any higher because we are fiscally responsible and solvent.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And then if you can go to my favorite slide, Eliana, that's the one with all the budget awards.
The next slide. 16.
So I just want to highlight these two numbers, right? The city has received the GFOA Distinguished Budget Award for 35 consecutive years. And then the GFOA has given us a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for 46 consecutive years. What does that and what should that say about our organization?
It's transparency in reporting. We are meeting an external entity's guidelines for reporting on financial information. They give us the criteria every year. It is moving every year. The criteria does change, so we have to be adaptable to that change. The reporting that was completed 20 years ago is different than what they're asking for now because the residents are asking for different things, how they want to receive that information. And we are keeping up with that and continuing to be awarded. We also receive special recognitions as well that add to the level of the award.
Great, thank you. And then my last set of questions comes from that one slide where we had the percentages of businesses that contribute to taxes and residential. And I'm going to go ahead and ask that question. I'm not sure if we have an answer as to how that compares to the year before, and the year before.
I think that was slide number 42. Ooh, yeah, nice. Nice job.
That's
Staff in
it.
the back.
So what is this, slide number what?
42, good job.
42. Gotcha, okay, thank you.
I've got the answers. Give me one quick second. So
just in case people can't necessarily see the numbers, I'm going to just share the numbers of this slide. So the tax-based components by value is 16,389,990,802. Of that, you have homes at just under 80%, businesses at just under 15%, and industrial just over 5%. So how do those numbers compare with the year before?
So on the year before, it was 80% on the residential, 14.6% on businesses. The prior year, 80% on residential, 15% on businesses, and fiscal year '24, 79.6% on residential and 15.3% on business.
Very good.
So pretty stable.
Yeah, very, very stable, a little bit of increase for the businesses over the last couple of years. So I really appreciate that. I think, I look at this, I look at these numbers, and I see that we're not just, thriving for our families and really being a premier community for families, but I think also for businesses and the business owners that happen to live here and raise their family and grow their business. So I'm looking forward to the resolutions being voted on. Again, I really appreciate all the work. I'm complete. Any other comments before we go on to item number 2? All right, very good. Well, thank you so much, Ileana. So you're still here for Resolution 2026-026, Preliminary Fire Assessment FY 2027.
This is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, relating to the provision of fire services and facilities and programs in the city, providing for purpose and definitions, providing for legislative determinations, establishing the estimated rate for the fire services assessment for the fiscal year beginning on October 1st, 26, directing the preparation of an assessment roll, authorizing a public hearing, and directing the provision of notice thereof, providing for an effective date. This is a request to accept, adopt, and set public hearing on Tuesday, September 15th, at 5:15 p.m. in these chambers.
Again, if you don't mind just pulling up the fire assessment slide. I'm not seeing it yet, Eliana. Are you able to?
It's
or-
there.
Okay, there we go.
That works.
All right, so you got residential going to 324.92, commercial slight increase, institutional from 58.92 to 62.12, and slight increase for industrial. And this is a request to accept, adopt, and a set public hearing for Tuesday, September 15th at 5:15 p.m. Somebody like to move it?
Move to accept and adopt.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Next is Resolution 2026-023, Preliminary Solid Waste Assessment FY 2027.
This is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, relating to the provision of residential solid waste collection services and facilities and programs in the City of Coral Springs, Florida, providing for purpose and definitions, providing for legislative determinations, establishing the estimated rate for the solid waste collection services assessment for the calendar year beginning January 1st, 27, directing the preparation of an assessment roll, authorizing a public hearing, and directing the provision of notice thereof, providing for an effective date, request to accept, adopt, set public hearing on Tuesday, September 15th at 5:15 p.m. in these chambers.
Very good. Would somebody like to move it?
Move to request to accept, adopt, and set public hearing.
Great. Again, that would be for Tuesday, September 15 at 5:15. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please. Oh, yes, go right ahead, Commissioner Sarah.
Eliana, with regards to this, I know last year we didn't increase it at all, right?
Correct.
And then this year, we're increasing it, but that's more to catch up for the non-increase from last year and to get us in line with what we contractually owe, and then have a little bit of a reserve, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, carries unanimously. Thank you. Next is item number 4, Resolution 2026-024, Preliminary Stormwater Assessment, FY 2027.
The resolution of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, relating to the provision of the stormwater collection program in the City of Coral Springs, Florida, providing for purpose and definitions, providing for legislative determinations, establishing the estimated rate for the stormwater collection program assessment for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 26, directing the preparation of an assessment roll, authorizing a public hearing, and directing the provision of notice thereof, providing for an effective date. This request to accept, adopt, set public hearing for Tuesday, September 15th at 5:15 p.m. in these chambers.
Would somebody like to move the resolution forward?
I'll move to accept, adopt, and set public hearing.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Thank you. Next is item number 5, Resolution 2026-025, Preliminary Nuisance Abatement Assessment, FY 2027.
It's a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, relating to the assessment of cost incurred by the city to correct public health, safety, and welfare violations on certain real properties in accordance with Section 184.4 of the city's Land Development Code, determining that certain real property has been specially benefited by the city's abatement of public health, safety, and welfare violations thereon, directing the preparation of a preliminary assessment roll, authorizing a public hearing, and directing the provision of notice in connection therewith, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date. Request to accept, adopt, and set public hearing for September 15th at 5:15 p.m. in these chambers.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Carries unanimously. Next is item number 6, the trim requirements FY 2027.
And this one, consistent with state law, we're going to ask for the commission to do several things, approve several things. Take the following actions. Number 1, establish the anticipated rollback operating millage rate at 5.7487 mils. Establish the proposed operating millage rate of 6.0232 mils, which is the current rate of 6.0232. Number 3, establish the anticipated voter-approved debt millage rate of 0.1581, which is 4.7% less than the current rate of 0.1659. 4, establish the required tentative public budget hearing on Tuesday, September 15, 2026 at 5:15 p.m. in the City Commission chambers. And 5, establish the required final budget hearing on Wednesday, September 23, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. in the City Commission chambers, and authorize the appropriate legal advertisements on or about September 5th, 2026 and September 18, 2026, addressing the final budget hearing on Wednesday, September 23rd, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. So with this motion, all of those actions will be ordered by the commission.
Great. This is a request to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, carries unanimously. Thank you. Lastly is FY 2027 business plan. Any presentation?
No presentation.
Perfect.
There is a link provided. It is going to be made available on the website if it isn't already, for our residents to see the business plan so that they understand what the fiscal year 27 budget has in it, so that when we talk with them in August, and hopefully they bring their trim notices with them, we can share where their property tax dollars are going.
Wonderful. Really appreciate it. This is a request to adopt. Would somebody like to move it?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, carries unanimously. Thank you very much, Ileana.
Thank you.
We now move to the consent agenda for the number 8, sound, stage, and lighting services.
Move consent.
Second.
We'll give Commissioner McHugh the second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. And then policy formation and direction, it's item number 9. It's a request to waive the competitive procurement process consistent with Section 2-305.17 of the City Procurement Code and award contract number 26A268NC for sponsorship, consulting services to Sports Facilities Management LLC of Clearwater, Florida. It's a request to award. Hey, Brad, how are you?
Good evening. So as you said, Sports Facility Management, you may know them. We work with them on the Sportsplex project currently. They're a leader in the industry. And I just happened to read an article today that they secured a multi-million-dollar sponsorship for a project similar to ours. I believe it was in Arkansas. So again, they're a leader in the industry. We worked well with them. They've been a proven track record of success. So that's why we're asking to award that to them.
Great. All right, any questions of Brad before a motion? Seeing none, would you like to make the motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Been hoping we have some sponsorships, much more than we've had over the years, and I'm looking forward to this arrangement and hopefully for maybe similar results for what you just shared.
Go a little higher this time.
Sounds good. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, it passes unanimously. We're on to Commission Communications. Who would like to go first? Joe?
I'll go.
Okay.
I only have one thing, Mayor. I just want to wish everybody a safe and happy 4th of July. As we celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, we're truly blessed to live in the land of freedom, the United States of America. May your day be filled with family, friends, gratitude, and pride in our great nation. Thank you, sir.
Beautiful. And same to you, Joe. Thank you so much. Commissioner Simmons?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for anyone that knows my wife, Cheyenne, if you see her, whenever you do see her, just give her a little hug or just, give her your condolences. We lost our fur baby today at 3:30 p.m. today. Yoshina Jackson, she was a full-bred Yorkie, and Cheyenne got her when she was a freshman in college at FSU and has had her ever since. And they were a package deal. And so, it's a little bit of a tough day for our family. So, she lost a very important person, I should say, in her life. So, enjoy the weekend. Have a great weekend, a celebration. Enjoy the times. Take pictures. Laugh. Let go of the week and all of the things, and just enjoy the people that you're with. Be in the moment, and be safe. And have a happy 4th of July, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, very good. Thank you. Commissioner Sarah?
All of our schools in Coral Springs, the highest rating that we have collectively ever had, and that is a true testament to the hard work of the administrators, the teachers, the faculty and staffs, the students and the parents, and it's everyone. So, and kudos to our team that works very closely with them. It's something that we truly have to celebrate when the schools go back in session, and wish them the very best and a great summer. Also want to congratulate staff on a job well done with the science and sustainability talk that they had regarding politics, pollution, and parrotfish. I actually learned quite a bit, and it was really great to see about 50 people in attendance. I also want to congratulate our Coral Springs Swim Club on doing such a great job. I can see tremendous growth in organization. Had the privilege of going out there for the Michael Loberg Invitational. Got to meet Michael's wife and thank her for her service. But we're very proud of the direction of that club, and it was great to have so many people at our swim facility. There's quite a few candidates in the room, and I must say that it was great to go the other night and just listen. We have a very talented group of people running for office, and I shared this in my speech when I was reelected for second term, that's what makes this city great. We have people that are willing to take the risk, put themselves out there, take time away from their family, sacrifice financially, and do it all for the betterment of people that they don't even possibly know. Serve a community. And when I was listening to the speeches, very well prepared, very well thought out, very well delivered. So I'm looking forward to progressing through the next 4 months. If we can be of any service to any of you, by all means, reach out. And I got to say that my two colleagues, once again, did not disappoint. You guys were great. But it made me proud leaving that event. It really did. That we have a deep pool of people that love our city enough to put themselves out there. So for those of you that are running, good luck. I'm just proud that I'm not one of them. I do appreciate the residents and the people in the community for going for the other seats. But ultimately, it's a tremendous honor and a privilege to get the opportunity to serve another 4 years, and I hope to do it at the highest level.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I also visited with Monica and Hannah yesterday at Coral Springs Middle. Very proud of the program that we've created over the years with the Coral Springs Police Department and the summer camp. Coral Springs Middle, thank you, and Broward County Schools for hosting. And just watching our men and women that serve volunteering and making sure that these kids get great experiences, but also learn what the police department can bring with regards to value and relationships is very important. So thank you to all that are running camp. I think they have about 8 days left, and look forward to them finishing strong. And July 4th is upon us. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all out at Mullins Park. The festivities are online, so you can track when things are going to be playing out. And I can't wait for the best firework finale we have ever had in the history of the city. If you need me,
the pressure.
there is a little pressure this year. Yeah, we definitely need a good finale. If you need me, I'm on social media at CS Commissioner 2. I have posted twice this week, so I'm on a roll. Commissioner McHugh, I have not seen you post.
Posted last night for the USA soccer game.
That's not city-related. And I can be reached at cell phone 954-612-7114. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You bet, you bet. So again, sorry I was a little bit late. I do family law for a living, and we had a trial, went about an hour late, and then the judge wouldn't let me go despite this obligation. So, but thankfully, we won on most issues. I asked my wife to come here and support me for this meeting. She was actually here. And she's like, I'm out, you're late, I'm gone. Sorry, honey, thank you for your effort to be here. Happy 4th, everybody, to you and your families. It's really going to be an incredible celebration, hopefully well beyond our community, but really for our country. You know, at this time, some of us feel divided from other people or sectors, maybe even from some family members, but it's an opportunity to really celebrate our nation. You think about it, you have these other countries been around for however long. Our country is young. We're 250 years old. And if you travel across our country, not only do you see so many beautiful places, but you can meet a lot of wonderful people. And yeah, not everybody's wonderful. But you know what? Let's focus on the good stuff. Let's focus on the community we have, the families we have, the good health that most of us have, and whatever we are grateful for, to be grateful for as a community, as one big family on July 4. I'm looking to celebrate with so many of you on July 4, and I'm also looking for a big bang at the end. So in that note, you know, I also wanted to give kudos to everybody in special events, and especially Mike, and I've done it once before, maybe 2 or 3 times, but I think Mike has really gotten his niche with this role. He's in Venezuela now with the team, and I want to thank our firefighters and EMS that are in Venezuela, helping with their tragedy, you know, and prayers for Venezuela, and just really give kudos to our fire department for, you know, stepping up. But going back to special events, I think our special events, especially over the last 12 months, have been incredible. A lot of connection, a lot of community, a lot of great entertainment. Mike has made a special area along with team members for veterans. They feel recognized, they feel acknowledged, they feel heard. And then you have people that actually come over and they're like, oh, you're veterans, and they feel good to connect with the veterans. And so much of what we do and who we are is about connection and community, and special events is a big part of that. So I'm looking forward to a great July 4th. I want to also thank the Ismaili Jakarta for hosting the candidates, and I want to thank all the candidates for being present and sharing some great words of wisdom and goals. I thought everybody was well-spoken and had some good things to share. And then the public that are here, several of you are candidates. I appreciate that you're here for this meeting. You know, there could be many other people here. And it also says a lot about our city that this is such an important meeting. And I think we have a lot of alignment in the community. I appreciate all the education we do and will do for the citizens about the budget. I know a lot of people are feeling a lot of tightness. And to really understand the budget and have lots of opportunities to ask questions and share ideas, I think is so important. So when is the budget hearing, the budget workshop again, or forum? If I can repeat that. I know, Eliana, you had it maybe August 28th? Budget Town Hall, August 25th, what time?
Budget Town Hall is 6 to 7 here in Chambers.
6 to 7 Chambers, 8:25. Okay, awesome. I really appreciate it. Lastly, I've been asked to be a speaker as the mayor at a September 22 Mental Health and Wellness Seminar. I don't anticipate supplying anything other than the suicide prevention video. Currently, I have a conflict with a trial that may or may not be continued, but I'd like to have consensus of whether I can present as the mayor and use the suicide prevention video. All right, wonderful. I appreciate it. And thank you, Georgia, for all the work you do as our city clerk and helping all the candidates. You and your staff, you're patient, you're kind, you're very professional, and the city wouldn't be the same without you. And those are my final comments. Thank you very much. And we are on to you, our city manager.
Thank you. And you know I'm going to say some things when it comes to the budget because I love it so much. But first, I'm going to start by saying thank you to our department directors and your staff for all the incredible work that does go into this. When you say, hey, what's your budget cycle, we really start, the budget team never stops. But truly, we do start with you all when it comes to September. In the budget hearings, we're listening throughout the year. We then go into public opinion surveys. Hopefully you'll get one in the mail, and we typically get that sometime between December and January. And we really start listening in, and truly it is a long time working to be able to be where we are. It's a great milestone. So this budget does reflect so much planning, collaboration, and evaluation to ensure we remain fiscally responsible while continuing advancing our city's strategic plan and deliver high-quality services that our residents and businesses expect. And I truly, I'm looking at the first couple of rows with the budget team. You all are fantastic. The way you care and you meet with all the departments, thank you. It's a lot of hard work. I know the departments really do share their appreciation, but truly I want to say thank you all so much for what you do. Ileana, you have a great team.
And that's ditto from all of us.
I know, we have so much fun when it comes to budget. And, just a couple things, to the residents that they hopefully saw, and I know that, 5-year forecasts aren't a gold mine for everybody, but they are for me. I love them. But we have a 5-year forecast to where we really focused in on our cost growth this year. That's why we don't have a millage increase in the next couple of years. If anything should happen, environmentally and from an environmental perspective, I say that when it comes to state legislatures, I say that when it comes to different contracts and different things like that, we have been able to really manage the operation over the next 5 years to where we have a very conservative growth rate in there at 4%. I do foresee us having more growth than that. At that point, we have a 5-year balanced budget. So that is really incredible. Again, addressing cost growth is something that really takes every employee looking at how they do their work to say, could I do it more efficiently? Do I need to purchase this? And if I do have to, how can I make it be the most fiscally responsible? And that is done throughout our organization. And when I say that, it is truly the departments that shape that culture that we have to be a fiscally responsible city. We look for ways to stay innovative. We look to be the desirable city that people want to be proud of. So hopefully our residents do feel that, see that, and have the opportunity, which we welcome you, to express what it is that you would like to see, what it is you would like to know, and what it is that makes up a city budget. So I say this, we don't always pass along every fee. You heard tonight Ileana talk about the fact that the fire assessment is $324. It could be more than $458. We look at that and say, do we have to charge that? If we don't, we do not pass that along. Some user fees we've talked about before, we say we pull back if we can. So we do look and we understand the cost of living is tough for residents. It's tough for us, but we are operating an organization where our costs go up just like yours. You're paying gas prices, so are we. We're paying the price of grass. If you're having to redo your grass and your lawn, we're having to buy grass too. So our cost growth is something that your cost growth goes up to, and we're trying to have those conversations with our vendors to bring those costs down as much as we can. Economic development, that was addressed a little bit when it comes to economic development in our businesses and what they are willing to spend in their business so that the city of Coral Springs could either look if it's the facade or just additional investments into their business. If we have been moving that money to be $730,000, private investments is more than $12 million. For our under $1 million investment, we are receiving more than $12 million. And that is something that I do think in economic development is important. We leverage grants. We're getting more than $4.5 million right in this year alone. That is something that takes a lot of staff work to be able to do. Appreciate the work that we have with our state and federal appropriations. We do have Amanda, who I'm looking at, thank you, with Lynn, they work with all our departments. Thank you very much for bringing additional money into Coral Springs so residents do not have to pay for that as well. You heard about sponsorships on this commission agenda, that we are trying to leverage other relationships so they can bring their relations to us so we can leverage that so we don't have to pay more. So we are very conscientious. I do understand that every dollar matters to the public, but I do hope that the residents feel that we are transparent. They feel that we have a culture of caring and we are trying to deliver premier services, and doing so does cost money. When we look at anything in the future, that is something that we will have to continue to have conversation about. So as the former budget director, I do recognize the work that's being done, and I really appreciate everybody here in the room that wants to hear about it and those that are watching this on demand. So as the commission is aware, we do have all of those opportunities for the public to come in, and we do want to highlight when it comes to vision to action. This is where when we had visioning, you told us what you wanted us to do. We're doing it. Please come and be around for the success of that so we can talk about all the good things that we've done in this past year, and that is in August. Thank you very much for mentioning the fact that we do have 7 of our employees and out at a USAR deployment in Venezuela. We are completely, the money that we have to pay for them to be there, that is money that is reimbursed to the city. It is very, it's very hard work. They're part of the Florida Task Force 2 Urban Search and Rescue Mission following those devastating earthquakes. And we are keeping our people in prayer and communication, and we obviously feel the same way for all of those who they're partnered with, and we're relying on all those people from the U.S. and around the world that are helping support the people that are standing alongside our employees. So we do pray for all of them as well in this important humanitarian effort. I'd like to thank, let's see. Really, when we talk about this weekend, 4th of July, a lot of fun. So I want to thank all the people that are working over 4th of July so that we can provide something fantastic for our residents. So whether you're public safety, whether you're out there, moving barricades, working on that grass in Public Works and Parks and Rec, thank you. Thank you for making this be such a great experience for our residents. So appreciate that. For America's 250th. I will also say, being from last night, I did stay up and watch the soccer game. Go Team USA. Love it. Love the FIFA passion. Again, thank you for everybody keeping us safe over the weekend. Please, everybody, be safe out there. I wish the entire Coral Springs community a safe and enjoyable and happy 4th of July. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Ms. City Manager. Up to the City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to update you on 2 bills that the city not only was following, but that we actually did resolutions that sent up to the state, that the governor vetoed both bills. One was involving regulating e-bikes. We were supportive of that. It gave a little more teeth. The governor did veto that, so that item did not go forward. But on much better news, the sovereign immunity cap, which was going to increase from 200 per individual to 350 per individual, and from 300 per incident to 500,000. That's all hundreds of thousands of dollars there, obviously. Was vetoed by the governor because he realized that the increase in expenses and liability that would occur to the city. Right. So that was good news. So both of them, we did send up our commission opinions on those, and so we went for 2 there, which is not terrible.
Sounds good.
And then just lastly, I do want to wish everybody a happy 4th. Mayor, you correctly stated that we are a very young country at 250 years. but we do have the world's oldest written constitution, most continuous too, so that's pretty amazing, yeah. So happy 4th to everybody, and have a great summer.
Great. We are blessed to live in this community, in this country. We are adjourned. We'll see you Wednesday, August 5 at 9 a.m. Thank you.